Thanks for tuning in. John here, attempting to describe the connection, in my view, from the, the mental and emotional connection that we built up in our body. Okay, so it's like this. The way that I see it is, whenever we start thinking something because of something we watch externally, for example, we have a certain trigger emotionally that comes up within us. When this emotional trigger comes up, now it paints our world in a certain reality. Now we're in that kind of loop. This is how we get stuck in the past a lot, is that as we were kids, we grew up building up certain patterns. Like when I was 5, something happened to me. I didn't know any better. I labeled an event a certain way. Then that event became a marker for me to kind of stand up on and keep building on. So those patterns within us that we created uh, paint our reality and also keep us stuck in certain loops. So if something I'm watching outside triggers what I'm thinking inside, then that trigger sometimes reminds me or triggers an emotional experience that happened in the past or from what I learned. That emotional experience comes up now. Now that feeling is painting my reality. Now I'm seeing the world through that feeling, through that emotion. And a lot of times I'm repeating myself, but we're stuck in those loops again. So part of the process of meditation and journeying on certain psychedelics to help you see those patterns within yourself. So a lot of times you'll see the loops that are running, how mind triggers, emotion triggers, and the emotion triggers the mind, and how the mind is in a loop to where it can't get out of it. Until you step out and see that your mind and your body is doing it, then you can actually break the loop. And once you break the loop kind of fades away, and then you build a new foundation to stand upon. So another example, which is very similar to what I'm trying to say, is that if I feel something, then that feeling triggers my thinking, and that thinking reminds me of something that happened in the past. Now again, trigger happened emotional, put me into a mental loop to where now I'm in a certain space in my mind that causes me to think in that repeated pattern. Just as the same as sometimes when I'm thinking or seeing something which triggers my thought, then my thought triggers my emotion, and then that emotion paints my reality in a certain way to where now again I'm in that loop again, to where I'm also seeing the world through the past patterns I've created. So when you take ayahuasca, for example, what you start to notice is how that trigger happens and how your emotional body reacts to the mental body and how the mental body reacts to emotional body and how it instantly paints your world a certain way, which is for a reason because you created those patterns when you were young, and those patterns are there to protect you. But as we grow up and we learn things that we didn't know before, we tend to not look at ourselves in the way that we used to when we were young, which now, as we see those patterns, we realize, oh wait, I don't believe that anymore. Let me clear that away. And then you create a new foundation to where now you're more clear, and now you can see the world in a clearer, more knowledgeable, more emotionally clear way, to where your window is not so tainted anymore by your beliefs that you created for a reason. Let's not get this wrong. There was a reason why we built up those patterns. So everything is for a reason. It's not to be thrown away and say I was stupid. No, it's like you did it because you needed protection. You did it because that's the best thing you knew how to do. Okay? So this is my 2 examples of what I'm talking about, is a connection between mental triggers, which are triggering emotional body, and then emotional triggers, which are triggering mental body. And that keeps us in a certain pattern, and we only see the world through our own patterns, and we can't get outside of it. Thanks for watching.